Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Chop It Out film session. I'm your host of Chop It Out podcast, Molly Maul. And on this Chop It Out film session, we're going to be talking about the new additions to the Commanders defensive line. Goldman, Javon Kinlaw, Deatrich Wise, Jake Martin. Washington had some problems last year stopping the run. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think they have a new plan this year, and it's been intriguing trying to get to know these players and seeing what they bring to the table. There is some pass rush juice among some of these guys as well, and I think that's important to note. I don't think you're going to find your stud with these guys in the pass rush game, right? That's probably going to be saved for the draft. But what do these guys bring to the table, and how different are they, and how can they contribute to this roster if they make the roster? Let's go ahead and figure that out on this Chop It Out film session. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be tapping into all four of those guys' traits right now. All right, so first up, Javon Kinlaw. What is Javon Kinlaw bringing to the table? I think there's a couple things that we need to note. Let's start with his pass rush game. We'll show a couple plays from there, a couple plays in the run defense that I think works for him. Javon Kinlaw is going to be your 4 technique. Now, Javon has played a series of different alignments. He's lined up as the 1 tech. He's lined up as the 2-eye. He's lined up as the 4-eye, I believe. 3 tech, 6 technique. He's everywhere on that defensive line, right? Right now, I think he is your 3 tech. He's your 4, my bad. So he's on the right side. Head up over number 78, your right tackle. And then you get to see your rush over on the guard. So Javon, when you get to know Javon, if you can isolate him in those one-on-one situations, that's where he thrives. He can, as a power rusher, that's his bag as in the passing game. And I think for anybody who's interested in figuring out where he can work best at, if he can get his hands in their chest and he can get that leg drive going, get a good pad level, right? Get under the helmet, get into the chest of the offensive lineman, he'll be able to generate that pass rush really quickly, as you saw in this moment on the speed to power. All right, so you saw him at the 4 technique. Now you see Kinlaw lined up closer to the center. He's now like your shade nose, if not just a true 1 technique in between the center and the guard, right? So now in this moment, again, one-on-one situations, dominating the smaller man, unable to get to the quarterback, but you see the strength on contact. You see his ability to show his functional strength in one-on-one situations, right? Dominating just as a powerful, big driving to the quarterback. And in this moment, this one was probably one of his best standout flashes. A crash man in the stunt game between him and his teammate, right? Quentin Williams. But you see him as a 3 tech, 2 3 techs playing that line game. Just bull goes right through Shaq Mason. 74, and they both have a party at the quarterback. So we saw Kinlaw rush from a 3 technique. We saw him rush from a 1 technique. We saw Kinlaw rush from a 4 technique. At the end of the day, in those one-on-one situations where he can really dominate and go just straight head on with the opponent or the offensive lineman, you're going to see him win. And I think Washington's going to have these opportunities where they can find a way to get him in those one-on-one situations to utilize his power that he does have. So in one-on-one, same thing in the run game, right? Now you're seeing him line up as a 3 tech. See the pad level, the knee bend, getting that leverage. He has some natural leverage. Well, not natural leverage here, but he's fighting for the leverage, right? Good pad level to stay block sustain, disengages and get into play. So that's a really good rep from Kinlaw as your 3 technique. I think they actually had a loss of yardage on this down. The coach did. Another moment, your 3 technique right here. Again, dominating at the point of attack. Got to finish that play, but he knew it. He knew it as soon as he got up. Look at it. He's about to start flexing. I cut it off. I shouldn't have cut it off. And here we got another wrap. Good gap discipline from Kinlaw as your 3 tech. He knew it again too. Dominated. He just got to finish the play. And I think that's one thing that you talk when you look at Javon Kinlaw's reps. Like, he'll give you that 60-70% of the play where it's like he's dominating the rep. But then you got to hope that he finishes at the quarterback or he finishes at the ball carrier. And I think that's one of the things that bothers me. And I think about this one right here. Like, you get in the backfield, you penetrate, Like, he's a natural disruptor, and I think that's the main thing that you see with Kinlaw. Like, he's a natural disruptor. He disrupts plays, and I think that's one of the best things you can have for Kinlaw or any defensive lineman. You know, if they're not necessarily getting at the quarterback, but they're disrupting plays in the backfield. You've seen every single example of him being able to show that capability coming into Washington. So I think for Kinlaw, being a disruptor is really good, but you're going to be even better if you can finish at the quarterback or if you can finish at the ball carrier. Now we're moving on to Jake Martin. What does Jake bring to the table? And I think it's purely from a pass rush standpoint. I think Jake, for all who are unfamiliar with him, I mean, he is the juice guy from a pass rush standpoint. He has the bend. He has the upfield burst that you need. Now, he's a little on the older side. I think he's 29, if not 30 already. Anyway, let's go ahead and run into some of his plays and what he'll bring to the table. If you can't tell, he's 55. 55 on the edge, right side, right here where my mouse is. Has a good burst. Able to rip through and get past 59. The thing is with Martin is not just speed, right? He has speed to power. He has bull rush. Like, he has some capabilities here, right? And this is against Washington. Right, he's able to take advantage of Andrew Wiley, who not necessarily oversets, but, you know, Martin has good hand usage and placement, right? So, like, he has the right hand basically hemming Wiley up and throwing him to the outside, like to the left side, right? His left. And Jake Martin is just winning inside and able to just basically run through Wiley, plain and simple. So you saw the play strength, you saw the speed rushes, you saw the power rushes. Like, he has the speed to power in his bag as well. Able to get there. Now, he slipped a little bit on this one, so it doesn't really help his case, but you see the power that he brings still, where 70 wasn't able to stalemate the bull rush or the power rush. Again, now this is a different one. Like, this is the motor that Jake Martin brings to the table as well. Like, he's an effort guy. He has several different ways to try and get to the quarterback. It's a motor that's impressive. His competitiveness. Now, this one, I think he gets jumped. Let me see. Well, it takes an angle set. The offensive lineman does the tackle. But, you know, he cuts off the path pretty quickly. But Jake is just able to get under his chest, drive him back into the quarterback. That was a completion, but you see the effort that Jake Martin brings. And now you're just seeing, again, more competitiveness. Jake fighting to get back into the play, ends up bringing Sam Darnold down. But again, the initial move wasn't there. Goes to the outside. Offensive lineman's there, but he has the wherewithal to find Darnold. Counters, spins back, makes the play. So you see Javon Kinlaw, who brings the power. You see Jake Martin, who brings the speed, the explosiveness, all of what they're seeing, right? And then we'll see a couple more in Eddie Goldman, who's coming up next, and what he brings to the table. So for Eddie Goldman, he's like your true one technique nose guy, right? I think if anybody could have related to him in recent years, it would have been Fedarian Mathis. Now, they did play him out a little bit wider, 3 technique. He had the younger legs. He has juice, so he can go a little bit outside of the center. But number 99, he ain't moving nowhere outside of the outside of them guard alignments, right? So he's at your center. And you see the good block recognition. That's one thing that he brings to the table, is being able to read blocks well, right? And in these one-on-one situations, like if you have to block him one-on-one as a center, you're in trouble. If you have to block him one-on-one as a guard, you're in trouble, right? And again, that's important, because if you can't block these guys one-on-one, you're going to have to bring more attention to somebody, right? And that's going to give others an opportunity to make plays on the defensive line. Another moment. Now you're talking about the shade nose. He's on the right side of the center. So he has some quickness left in him, but he ain't super quick. Don't let that one play fool you. He's able to really disengage from blocks. He has a good ability to shed a block. And that's just an instance of him being quick and being savvy to get around that center and still get back into his gap. But for Goldman, I think his main thing, what he brings to the table, is his ability to diagnose block schemes quickly, be prepared for the block that's oncoming. I think he has the play strength to withstand and defeat one-on-ones. I don't think he's going to dominate in one-on-ones. I do think he struggles in double teams too, and I think that's going to be another thing that that we have to think about moving forward. Who exactly is going to be a guy on that defensive line who can really turn up against double teams? I haven't been able to see it yet, and that's kind of spoiling the conclusion of this episode. But at the same time, you're talking about some defensive lineman who does bring other things to the table compared to last year's group. So you want to hope that this thing does get better. But double teams is going to be a problem in terms of like what they bring to the table is pretty good. Let's go ahead and get to Deatrich Wise as we close this one out. All right, now Deatrich Wise is your high IQ edge defender, and he's going to be able to shut things down on the perimeter, right? Now Deatrich, he also has some versatility in his game. 3 technique, 4 technique, 5 technique, but all outside of the guard tackle gaps, right? Right now he's on up outside of your tackle, defeating the reach block, shedding them, throwing them, right? Forcing the running back to bounce outside. Number 91, if you weren't too familiar with him. Just throws him down like it's nothing, like he's 20 pounds. All right, now you're talking about 4 technique, head up over the tackle, right up at Trent Williams, matter of fact. But that's good gap discipline, right? Finding the ball carrier. He has that stack ability. That's where the arm is fully extended. You see him fighting back into that play side gap where Mason is headed, the running back. Let's make a tackle. I think you limit him to like 3 yards on that one. And I think what's more impressive is just like against reach blocks, you're going to have to be able to move laterally, but also have like the functional strength to fight back in like the cutback lanes, or just stay in your discipline. Stay gap disciplined if you do have the running back run towards you, that he doesn't expose you in terms of your ability to stay undisciplined. But moving laterally and having the functional strength to make these plays is important. I think Deatrich Wise has that. Another play showing the high IQ ability, right? Just being disciplined. Just into that motion from Kittle, right, to the strong side of the formation. Just that slight shift helps him with his alignment. He's able to get outside and fit that gap a little bit better. See him stack Trent Williams. Look where his eyes are, right? Immediately takes away that gap that huge check and Kittle was trying to create for Jordan Mason. Forces him back inside, they make the play. And then lastly, same thing, 3-point stance, 4 tech, right over top of that tackle. Takes on that guard, has good leverage, the knee bend, right? Stacking the guy, has good hat placement, right? Able to find the running back. Just staying disciplined, honestly, because he doesn't really have true vision on the running back right here, but just stay disciplined, stay in your gap. And using like that off inactive hand or off hand as leverage, right? That hand on the offensive lineman, so you know that you can keep your balance. Like that's just a subtle way of staying balanced, but staying in your gap, right? As opposed to being thrown around by the offensive lineman that's assigned to you. Maintaining that gap discipline, then shedding, right? Get off me. Let me make the play. All right, so you see the different type of things that these defensive linemen bring to the table for Washington. I think you see a guy in Eddie Goldman who his ability is to react to box quickly, be prepared in terms of the block scheme, right? Being able to hold down the interior and react quickly, right? I think that's important for Washington. Somebody who can play fast because of the awareness that he brings to the table. Deatrich Wise, you see an individual who plays smart on the outside alignments. He has the good football instincts. He's able to stay gap disciplined, right? But he also has the strength and the savviness to disengage from blocks when necessary and make a play on the perimeter. But he plays his assignment as best he could, because that's all that matters to him, is being gap disciplined, playing assignment football, and having that on the outside as your edge guys, as your force defenders are just as important. Jake Martin, you see a guy who has some pass rush juice. Does that mean he's going to be excellent for this team? I don't know. You need somebody, especially if you lose Dante Fowler, who can come in here and bring some type of threat in terms of their juice, their explosiveness, their toolbox to the table. And I think Jake Martin can do that for Washington, so long as he can find a way to make an impact come August, and obviously during the regular season, he'll have a place here. And then obviously, Javon Kinlaw. I think this is a guy who does have an opportunity to thrive here, but you have to find a way to isolate him in those one-on-ones where he can really stand out. And I think that's important for him. He's a powerful guy. He's a powerful rusher. He's a powerful defender to stay engaged in terms of the run game. If you don't have the manpower up front, he's going to dominate the game. But that's on Kinlaw, and he has to finish better. And I think for Kinlaw, he has an opportunity in front of him. And I think Washington understands if he can continue to get better, things will work out well for him. I do think that every one of these guys aren't going to be able to play the same amount of snaps every game. I think every offensive line and every run scheme or every pass scheme is going to be different in terms of how Washington approaches them with the defensive linemen. And I think for Washington, for example, I don't think Eddie Goldman's going to be playing every game the same amount of snaps. I think there'll be different. Jake Martin, same thing. I think if anything, Deatrich Wise and Javon Kinlaw are your guys who's going to have a good presence here. If Wise can make it through training camp and preseason, which I'm sure he will, but we just prefacing that. But I think that the run schemes or pass schemes or offensive line schemes from different coordinators, offensive coordinators, is going to dictate how things go and the alignments in which they play. But we'll see how things turn out. But for right now, you kind of understand what they bring to the table. And I think for Washington, different alignments and different versatility, or the versatility they bring, is encouraging. It only leaves one thing left for them to grab, and that's an edge rusher in the draft who can really take over from a pass rush standpoint and possibly play 3 downs in the future. We'll see what happens. We'll see what time they're on come the draft. But that's going to wrap it up for this film session. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, man. Peace.
Chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Down, set, watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.